Building and Grounds? Call the Building and Grounds Committee to order. First we have project updates. Went over some of them already.
Oh yeah, all the summer scheduled projects are done. All the painting is done in all the buildings except for Evergreen, which is just due to the fact the rec department is still in there waiting for them to leave to paint the areas that are scheduled for that building. All of the carpeting that was to be removed and replaced with VCT tile is done and taken care of both at Evergreen and Fox River. The tuck pointing has started at Evergreen. Just got a late start just to do all.
That's why the basket's sitting there.
Yeah, inclement weather that they've had. I mean, that fell behind in so many of their projects that were scheduled prior to us that they're doing everything they can to get it done. They're kind of working with my direction around the building because as people start to come in, so they're not in the way. They started at the front because that was the easiest, with everything. And plus, they want to get that high part done to get that lift back because they're renting that, so they have to pay for the rental on it. So that's going well, and then their miter painting is scheduled shortly thereafter to do the power washing in the ceiling. There's a grace period that they have to wait for the mortar to dry and the caulking to dry before they can go in and start blasting with high pressure water. But as soon as that's done, we'll schedule them and get them in. Pretty much that was all the projects we had.
The blacktop worked well at Woodfield?
Blacktop, yeah, the driveway went well, that's fine. That drain wells, we washed it with the rain and one thing or another.
I made one trip there, it looked pretty good the one day when I went past there.
So it's very good, yeah, turned out well. Takes the water well, channels it fast and gets it out of there and doesn't leave any stand, so we're good there. Looks like we may have to look at that same scenario though next year here at Trailside. If you notice, I noticed that seam is starting to open up now. They did the same thing here that they did at Whitfield, where they made a seam right down the center of the water channel.
And this one used to get the water sitting there all the time. I'm surprised it's less as long as it has.
Right, but that's something we'll have to probably look at for next year. But other than that, like I said, all the other projects are done. We're in good shape there.
You have any other questions on projects? Discussion on communications from the village.
Just to provide some background to everyone. A couple weeks ago, the village had sent a letter to the district expressing a safety concern about Trailside kids, basically when they go home at night. I don't want to say loitering, but
walking down the middle of the street,
hanging around in the streets, right off of that's Foxmead back there.
Yes.
Yeah, in the Foxmead area. So the proposed suggestion is to connect a path from the existing Trailside path to the rec trail, basically.
Well, the We Energy's right-of-way path.
Yeah, the old, which is down the bicycle path.
Exactly. So a couple weeks ago, Ken called the village to get clarification, and then he and I went and met with the village to get just a deeper understanding as to what their idea was. And the point is they're simply looking to connect a path, to connect the two paths. I mean, that's what it boils down to. So I put this on as a discussion item for us to walk out, look at it. The concern, a couple of concerns that Ken and I have had, and I don't want to put words in Ken's mouth, so I'll let him jump in at any point. I'm not sure, number one, that this is a solution. And the reason why is basically you're just diverting kids down a half a block. And when they exit the bike path or the We Energy's right of way, they're still ending up in the street, just a little farther down. The second concern that I have, that I mentioned, was it's more of a safety concern, because if you divert the kids down that path, it's mostly wooded, or at least heavily
It's got a pretty good canopy over it,
yeah,
tree canopy above it.
I know just based on some conversations that I've had with Jeff, the principal here, as well as I've had with parents, there have been concerns about kids getting bullied, teased, what have you, on the way home or on the way to school, and that's in a perfectly visible context, if you will. And so by moving those kids into a shrubbery or a canopy type area, that visibility or safety piece is a concern to me. So those are the two pieces. I didn't know if you went.
Yeah, I mean, we looked at, or I looked at from where we exit onto Foxmead now to the south, down to the next road. That area through there is almost unattainable by the people that live along there, because there's a detention pond back in there behind those those townhouses. A little further down, I mean, no one has ever cleared that out. Of all the houses along that road, I think there's only 2 or 3 that have actually kept an open area from their backyard to that We Energies right away. So there's not a whole lot of kids, I don't think, that would use it. And those that would use it from this point, all they're not walking on the road is the length of one city lot.
I know I looked at it, and my concerns were, number one, children aren't going to walk further than what they have to. The closest thing is going to be the road, so they're going to hit that. 2, and I don't know about now, but I know a couple of years ago, the Racine County Drug Enforcement was busy in that area behind McDonald's and that on the drug path, because they had a lot of business there, so to speak. I don't know if they still do. This was a couple of years ago, which they don't say every concurrent, so I do.
We wanted to walk out there just to see.
Just to see
Sure. Where the meeting concluded, before we go out and take a look, is Ken agreed just to get a cost estimate as to how much the connecting of the paths would cost. We both asked, is there a cost share possibility on these things? And basically, once Ken had that information, we were going to just get back to the village with that piece of information, and we may be invited to a board meeting of some sort.
The cost of putting that path in, which would be 9 feet wide by 270 feet long, and it would run parallel to our south lot line back there along our detention pond,
Right.
from the existing bike path to the We Energies right away, was $6,895.
Are there any other details that?
Well, they just kept bringing up the fact that, you know, when all that was built back there, they never required them to put in sidewalks, and now for them to go back and put in sidewalks, it would be a cost share between the property owner and the village, and so I'm thinking that's where a lot of this, or what's generating a lot of this talk for a path is, it's a lot cheaper for the village than.
Well, I agree with that, but when they originally put the subdivision in with multiple families, they had to figure there was going to be a lot of children when you have multiple families going in. It's just nature of the beast.
Right.
Yeah, it's all duplexes.
All townhouses.
With the cost sharing, if the village absorbs 99% of it, we get absorb 1%.
Somehow I don't see the village doing that. Should we adjourn this to go out and take a look at it?
We go out here and down the hallway to the right, we go out that blue entry.
If anybody wants.
Great.
If they wanted to go on the old house, they could have no parking and have a restricted area there for walking, and a bike path.
On one side, yeah.
Is the committee interested in doing a cost share on that?
At this time, in my opinion, we know it's.
I think the issue is with the village.
You know, if it would be safer for it, I could see doing a cost share, but from what you see, it's really not safer. So, and if the village wants me up, I would even go, you know, if it's an evening or something, talk to them, hear their side.
If they were to put a path like Paul had just suggested along Foxmead, is there interest in the cost sharing with that?
Drawing the white line?
I'm not saying we will, but, you know, I'd rather listen to it, see what they say. I'm not completely negative.
All right.
Do you have anything else for Bill?
No. I guess one question was, how do the grounds end up after the Bloom Fest?
Fine, I have no problems whatsoever. No worn out spots, anything, you know, traffic was pretty much kept. I think the high school had more of a problem than we did because of where the balloons came in off of Barnes and then drove around the south and west side of the soccer field. You know, I think there was more dead grass there than anywhere we had, you know, anything like that. The grounds were cleaned up very well again. No problems there whatsoever. I mean, I came in on Monday morning early and I think we picked up 2 gum wrappers and that was about it.
I was going to say, Sunday afternoon I went through and I was impressed.
Yeah, it was very well.
A lot of
Very well organized.
That's
good. It's nice to have cooperation.
Yeah, I think the changes that I requested last year with them moving the food out onto the field away from the building helped and, you know, just different things, but I think it was very well taken care of.
You still want to go through the buildings at all? Tour? So,
You available to go through the buildings and on our yearly tour?
Sure. Just let me know when.
just email me when you're available, and I'll see what I can do on my schedule.
Other than Thursday and Friday of this week,
That wouldn't be this week.
okay, then other than that, I'm fine. So just let me know what's
Just hear
convenient.
back from me other than that, after next week.
Wednesday morning, I can see it. I'll see what's going on at work first.
Yeah, just send me an email.
Okay.
Like I said, other than Thursday, Friday this week, I'm
So,
fine.
Tentatively for Wednesday, 8:30,
This Wednesday?
next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
14.
If not,
10:30?
8:30, because
8:30, okay, I'm sorry.
yeah, because after that, I do have to take a little ride out to Whitewater.
You want to see me sometime?